Alisa entered the waiting room. Okay, Alisa's here. Let me bring her in. Hi, Alisa. Hold on for just a second. I got a question from Sherry. She wants to know why has she been crying all day? She says she's just sad. Okay, so you're you're feeling sad. So let me see if the cards can give me some answers on that. Are you there? Alisa? Hi, Alisa.
Hello. It looks like there's something might be wrong with it, but if it happens to go out, hopefully we can still keep voice.
Alrighty. Okay, Alisa, while I was waiting for you, I asked for some questions and I want to do this one for Sherry real quick. She's feeling sad for no reason and she's been crying all day. Do your guides have any information for her?
For Sherry?
Sherry. Sherry in the chat says,
Yeah, Sherry Sanders, correct?
no, no, not Cherie. That's Cherie.
Oh, that's Cherie. I'm sorry, I
This
pronounced
is
it wrong.
Sherry Knoll.
Okay. And
And
you're pulling cards for her because, again, please?
yeah, she says she's been crying all day and she doesn't know why. She just feels sad.
Well, I think actually understand what she's talking about because I felt
Really?
something like move, like a wave, come across the lands. I'm going to say it like that there. And as it ran through me, it was um, maybe like an old memory or something that whenever it flowed through me, it felt sad, but I knew it didn't belong to me. It was just like a wave that went across. So if that is what she's referring to, I would say that it's just a wave of, I'm being told a wave of mourning. And that is something that is kind of like going across the land. And as it goes across the land, it's taking these things out of the land. Even though it feels like it's hidden, it's still
Okay, well,
taking.
I've got a message specifically for her though. So the very first card is a major arcana. So this is telling me that this is more than just something that's in her ordinary life. And then
Right.
I see this intense emotions, and then I get my Pleiadians card and this dual card, right? So this is
Mhm.
telling me she has another aspect of her higher self is a Pleiadian, and
Mhm.
something was happening there that is and she's feeling it here. So some and one of her other soul incarnations as a Pleiadian, she had something happen there. So that incarnation there, Sherry, is having a bad day, and then you're feeling a reflection of that. And
Sure.
maybe that's there's a lot of people feeling that, like Alisa just talked about. So hi,
Well, there is
Alisa.
some information
I'm
that
really
goes along with that that might be very helpful of why she felt that.
right. So I'm really glad you were joining me today. And this was you volunteered to be here for this today.
I did.
Um,
I did.
I already did my announcement about my special rates for October, and I started sending out emails. I figured out how to use the blind carbon copy because the first time I did it about 3 or 4 months, 4 or 5 months ago, whenever it was, I
Right.
didn't know how to do that, and everybody's like, "Oh, you just shared my email with 400 people," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but I figured it out. It's a little bit difficult. I could not figure out how to copy like a whole block of names, and so I have to do them one by one, which is a little tedious. But hey, it's worth it to keep everybody happy and keep their emails
Right.
private.
Well, I definitely
So
want to let everybody know, hello, I see you, hollering at me
mhm.
in the
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, yeah.
And
Take a
hey,
minute.
Yenny, I see you're in the room, my sister. That's nice to see you're here.
Yeah.
My friend Yenny, and she actually has a question for you. So she's part of those questions later.
Okay. Oh, I see. You got some questions from your viewers for today. Okay, that's
Mhm.
the
I
questions you were
do.
talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, so let's get into it. You said you want to share some information about UFO, or what? You
Yes.
take it away, Sheree. Sorry,
Well,
Alisa.
well, um,
Oh, and we
I
and I am recording this and I'll give it to you later.
yeah, and this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yep,
Just to
yep.
make sure
We're
we
having
cross T's and
fun,
dots the
so
line. There was a video that came across my desk last week. You little heathen! My little kitty cat, new kitty cat kitten, and she's just gone butt wild. Information came across my desk that let me know that there was a fight, and one of them in the sky, and one of them was over Milwaukee, and you can actually see these here like blast coming out of behind the clouds. It was hitting something. And it wasn't quite clear, but I got this, like God's telling me, okay, well, there's these last kind of battles that are going on. And I'm thinking, well, I thought we pretty much had all of them out of the way. And God was letting me know that there was like two last major ships that these guys are trying to get out of here. And they can't literally get out of here because we're inside the photon belt. They can't go outside the dome because that would be devastating to them. But this is what they're claiming they're going to do, but that's a lie. They want to get high enough, in other words, that their ships and stuff could cause us damage. And they have to make sure, our guys have to make sure they don't even get off the ground. Because, no matter what, if they get into the air, it can cause problems. So I'm like, okay, I understand that there's only two of these major ships left. And then my friend Louise, and if she's watching this, she sent me a thing with Alex on it, and she was telling me this is really good information. You need to watch this, blah, blah, blah. So when I'm watching it, and I'll be damned. I mean, I'll be diamond. Remember, everybody, I stopped saying I'll be damned because that's a bad thing towards ourselves. So God's got me saying, I'll be a diamond. So, and he was talking about just that. And I was like, wow. So there gives me some confirmation that what information I was receiving and what God was telling me, that this is fact. And now he's talking about one particular ship. And the fact that they was claiming they want to get off the ground, they want to get out of here, and and that was being prevented. But the smaller ships that was with it, Alex said that took them out. And I thought it was fantastic. Okay, so that's some good news right there. And then the other one that I am talking about, because I said there was two, Alex says there one. The other one was trying to get out of Antarctica. Okay. And it was kind of like the getaway car kind of ordeal. But they got them before they even got off the ground or out of Antarctica. And they did take them into custody. But the ones that Alex is talking about, they didn't take them into custody. They just shot, and got away. Now they will present themselves again sometime into the future, I'm sure. But at least Alex let me know that was actually happened. And then the other information that I have is it's an update for the RV. And everybody's been listening to Mark Z and the gurus and stuff like this here. Okay. And they're talking about that we're right at the door of all of this happening. And I really do believe that because the evidence proves that. Okay. But Mark Z had put out announcements saying that some bonds people have been paid, but they just can't distribute the money yet. They're not allowed to do that. Okay, well, I got that information as well, that the bonds were being put out. It's kind of like they're giving the people the monies that they're going to be needing, and then once that gets done, they're going to distribute it. Okay, but it's getting that close. And also, the other good news is out of I think it's 179 countries that we have, 159 of them have signed on to BRICS. It's a done deal. Okay. And so when everything gets ready to flip, everybody's set up. You see, everybody's ready. But that is the news that I wanted to bring to you. And also that the energies is getting faster, they're getting higher. Okay. And that's because we are raising our frequency, but it's trying to meet us, and that is surrounding us. And as these frequencies get higher, my brothers and sisters, it was not 2 months ago, I think it was, that the Vatican said, oh, we have to put out this handbook because all kinds of strange things are going to start happening. You're going to see ghosts, you're going to see apparitions, you're going to see UFOs, all this kind of good stuff. Well, that's fixing to kick in. So just be aware and don't be scared, because if there is something around you, it's kind of like out of phase. People will call it a ghost, people will call it a spirit, and there is those kinds of things too. But whenever these things start coming, God is telling me that those who are supposed to see it, they will be able to see a family or their other self. Okay. So whenever these strange anomalies start happening, do your best, my brothers and sisters, not to lose your crap. So it's supposed to be a good thing, not a bad thing. It'll be bad to those who are fearful. It'd be
Yep.
their night. Okay. But to the positive ones, it won't be. Okay.
Oops. Hey, can I show you something?
Sure.
This was about a month ago. I had just finished a live
Oh,
with Honey,
mhm,
and I had a lot of high energy at that time. Uh, so often when I finish my lives, I absorb all this high frequency energy from my viewers, and it gets me on a kind of a high, a natural high. And
mhm.
I had gone that day for a massage. I've discovered these compression massages that are so nice. And when I after I finished my massage, I was so relaxed. I just felt so good. I came outside and I saw something, and I had to take a picture of it because I thought it was out of place. And let me show you. Can you see it?
Yeah, that one right there.
That
In the middle.
cloud? And it
It's
just
nice. I see that.
it
That's
looked
nice.
it looked out of place to me. The color was all off. The shape is
Mhm.
lenticular, and and I just had a feeling that there was something more to this cloud. So I sent it to Honey. I sent this picture to Honey, and she goes, "Oh, they've come to visit you just to say hi."
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I wanted to get your input. Do you feel like that was a visitor?
Absolutely. And it's a perfect representation of some of those large mother type ships that are out there. It's a
Hmm.
nice, that's a good shape to give people because there
Hmm.
are round ones. There are round ones that look like Saturn, except it's not. But then they have those oval ones. They have the cigar shaped ones, and then they have those ones there. And those type ones there are more prone to the Palladians.
Okay.
So, or at least from what I can remember anyway.
Well,
So,
ever since Honey told us what kind of clouds to look out for, I've been
mhm.
looking for them a lot. And of course, here in the dry season, there's no place for them to hide. If they want to hide, they'd have to be exactly the same shade as the sky because it's like completely clear, no clouds. And
Yeah.
so finally we got the rainy season started. So I started looking, I saw that one. I said, "Oh, that looks like it might be something." And
Mhm.
and like I said, that day I had these high energies. I just got, when you get a massage, all of your pressure points are being activated, you know, which also rises your frequency. So, anyways, thanks for that, sharing that,
You're welcome.
the
And
input on that.
it had to have been for you. Now, I have seen some what they would call, the cloaked UFOs, and they're behind the clouds and stuff like this here. And it's so obvious. And I'll even talk to them, I can see you. So and that way, it lets them know that I did see them. I do recognize them. That's what we're supposed to do. But I'm definitely getting that that was for your experience. Think about it above an area. It can cover a pretty good area. So if you give it that energy, that means
Yeah,
your section was being energized and you felt that.
yeah, yeah. And I
That's
did,
awesome. And
I
you got
did
a
give it,
picture. That's even better.
yeah, I did give it a little wave, and I said hello, and
Mhm.
just in case, because I wasn't sure, but I thought, well, just in case, I'll let them know that I see them too.
So, what is your plans? I know we talked about doing the zodiac signs for people, but
Yeah,
I
no,
was
I'm not gonna. That takes a long time to do, and
Well, I was
it's not,
going to say if
and
you
it
do it or decide to
doesn't
do it, but you
suit
just pick two
everybody. No,
cards per.
I'll,
Oh,
I'll take if you have questions for me,
there you go.
from your people, sure, I'd love to do that.
I do. All right. Let me go over here to my questions for you. And these are good questions. I think you're going to like these questions. Okay. Um, well, first, I'd like to give a shout out to Gina Benson. I met her through a comment, and she's feeling pretty down and low these days. So I'm going to give her a shout out and let her know that I did appreciate talking to her, and I'm sending her all kinds of love, light, and blessings. Let her know that she's not forgotten about because a lot of us feel like that sometimes. And other than that, I have these questions. And I want to know my friend Yanni. Hello, Yanni. She is a Sagittarius, and she was wondering if you could pull a couple of cards from her and it's like, how do you see her? Because she's getting like a message by January that something different is supposed to be happening. And so she would like to know what your cards are telling her by now till the end of the year with her situation. And her name is
with
Yin.
her situation. Okay.
And she's Sagittarius rising.
Okay.
So,
Well, I don't really know a lot about astrology, so I
right.
don't know how that really works. Okay. So right away, if she's getting a feeling about January, this goes right in line with this big event that's happening around the end of the year that's going to bring sovereignty. Okay, because so she's coming up as the queen in her atmosphere right away, and then this is any challenges she may have. Nine of nine of wands, and nines are, oh wow. And then, do you know if she is married or has a significant partner?
No, she does not. She's mainly concerned about, is she going to be able to find a decent place to live by the end of the year? So,
Okay, since you worded that way, by the end of the year, maybe not the end of the year, okay? Because we're going to be in heading in a new direction by then. Um, but I have to reiterate, we have a queen and a king of the same suit, which is and there those are wands. She's going to be having a transcendency happening of some sort because nines are transcendent,
right.
and she's not going to have to worry about uh, those mundane things like where she's going to be living by then. Okay,
Yeah.
this is going along the lines of what be getting repeatedly, and Honey has too, that something big is going to happen at the end of this year. So I understand that our everyday problems are very important to us, but those are mundane compared to what's happening in the bigger picture. So
Right.
when something is happening on the bigger picture, you're no longer concerned about your individual needs as much. But this is also going to be changing that situation entirely. Okay.
Yep.
So try not to let it become an intrusive thought that's making you worried. If it's making you worried, just know that we're all gonna be protected. But something big is happening at the end of this year. I keep getting that's another example of it right there. Okay.
Okay. And the next thing I would like to do is Sandy Nightingale, what is your grandmother's name? She's 106 today. By golly, that is
Oh,
incredible. Happy
wow.
birthday to her. And I'd like to be able to say her name. So
Yeah.
she'll put it in the thing here.
Yeah.
And Riki oh wait a minute, she put up a link for Serena's soap.
Okay.
Um
Yeah. Check out
Serena,
Serena.
please send me an email at freetheplanet@yahoo.com because I really like to check out your soap, my sister.
You
Her name
know,
is Pearl. That's beautiful. Her name is Pearl. That's
oh
nice.
yeah, that's a lovely name.
Will
Uh,
she get a chance to watch this here, Sandy? Or will you get her to watch it? So that we can make sure we give her
she's probably like my mom. My mom's 87, and I've been doing these
yeah.
YouTube
Pearl is
shows.
her name, yeah.
I've been doing these YouTube shows for 3 years now, and my mom still doesn't know how to find me. So, which is
Uh,
okay.
Well, just, if you get her to, oh, she said that she will send me that. Okay, well, just
Mhm.
let her know if you do show it to her that I'm wishing her a happy birthday. 106. I want to shake that woman's hand. Let me tell you what, because I kind of figured it, before all this stuff that if I just made it 88, I'd be happy. I'll put on my
But
outfit on my own. So no
she has
eyesight and hearing.
she
Oh,
yeah, she
okay.
can't see and her
Yeah.
hearing, but that's okay. You don't need eyes or ears to receive love vibrations that we're sending through the
Absolutely.
airwaves now.
Okay, and let me see. And I have these questions for you. All right, Scott, do you see Christmas happening this year or being the same?
How do you interpret that question? That's a little bit
Simple that. That's what I got. Well, it says, Scott, will Christmas be the same?
okay. So let's see. Well, there's death, and death means a transformation. And then the Seven of Swords, Six of Wands, and the outcome is there's going to be some kind of change in the way Christmas is celebrated. You notice in the Six of Wands, there's a laurel. Like everybody puts laurels on their
Yeah,
doors.
the
I
wreath.
know
Yeah.
we always did in my house. Um, and you do you remember right at the same time Trump was elected, there was an event that happened in Venice on Christmas Eve when all the 13 bloodlines were they do that's when they do their rituals.
Yes.
So here's the change. Nothing like that can ever happen again. Okay.
Very good.
Now, the way people are going to celebrate at home, I think that's going to be you're not going to notice anything different at home. The change is all of these occult bloodlines that would go underground while everybody else is tucking their children in to wait for Santa Claus to come in the morning, and they're doing their dark rituals where they're actually literally doing this, you know. Um, that can never happen again. That's the greatest change.
I
So
agree.
I didn't know how I was going to answer that question when you brought it up, but that's what the universe wants us to know. There will be no
Yeah.
more midnight.
Riders.
I think I can say the word sacrifice
Yeah. I was going
done
to
in
say
the
midnight
name of the
revival.
dark ones.
Yeah. And the next question is Scott, I thought I seen what looked like two planets in the sky. Am I correct?
Two
Other planets,
planets.
planets, yeah, like like if what she didn't say a sun, she's saying that she thought she's seen two shapes that look like planets.
Okay, let's see what she was seeing. Now, I like to use my left brain first. If I saw something like that, first thing I would do is get on Stellarium and check what astronomy says.
Well, she didn't have a camera or nothing, but otherwise she would have sent me a picture.
Hmm.
Look at all them swords. That's a
Yeah,
lot of swords, man.
and swords are in the mind. So did I wish I could ask her other questions like could other people see these? Because it looks like
Just saying it was
it's
her, so
huh?
she was saying it was her. She was on a walk and she seen it. So it was
This,
just
I,
she was.
so I think that those were planets. I'm saying that because I'm getting this Queen of Pentacles here, and
Mhm.
that's Earth. But you think about, there's other physical bodies out there, but it was meant only for her to see. They were meant only for her to see. So that's
Okay.
why it happened when she was alone, and it's possible that even had if other people had been there, they couldn't have seen them.
Right.
Um, Now, what kind of message was that involved? I don't know, but I would say yes to her question, and that it was meant only for her eyes to see. Okay,
I agree with that. Because I even told you about that. You seen one too, and I said it was for you to see.
right.
So and
Oh
her name
yeah,
was
anybody else that day, if they had looked at the sky, they just would have saw a cloud,
okay.
except
Well,
for, people in our community.
okay. Well, her name was Andrea. So there you go, Andrea. He answered your question.
Thanks for that
And
question, Andrea.
um, Scott, do you believe, or what is your thoughts on us seeing more UFOs next year? And will that be the year of disclosure, major disclosure? So,
Okay, let's just see what the cards have to say.
okay.
As far as my own, while I'm drawing cards, what do you think?
I agree. I think absolutely. I mean, people are already starting to see them now and more this year than they did last year. So it makes sense that they're going to be out more next year, but it's going to be in a different way. We're going to start noticing a lot more.
Right away, the two of cups. So they're telling us that it's like friend they want to make contact, but that's I was really disappointed a while back when Honey said that they weren't going to be making full disclosure anytime soon. And
Okay.
and I have to agree with that. However, those those who have eyes to see, just like the one that I saw, um, will be able to, but for the masses, no.
Hmm.
It's
Right.
only going to be for those of us who are at a vibrational level that's
Right.
high enough in our eyes and 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 our minds are able to see it. Because the eyes cannot see that which the mind cannot. So that's the big problem there.
Okay.
You're welcome, Tracy Gardner.
Yeah. Okay. And the other one is Scott, I feel like I would like to start reading cards. I'm feeling a pull to read cards. How did you know you were going to read cards?
Okay, so let me back up and tell the story again. When I was in my mid 30s or early 30s, um, I lived with my sister. We had a really good living relationship. She's like the only roommate I ever had that I didn't end up hating. But for some reason, I was in her room. I was looking for something in her closet. I don't remember why I was in my sister's closet, but in the back of her closet, I found this box of tarot cards. I remember somebody gave them to her as a gift and she never did anything with them. And I said, "Hey, Maria, do you mind if I play with your tarot cards?" She's like, "No, go right ahead." So I read the pamphlet and I started doing readings for myself. And then one day, one of her friends was home, and this is the first time I ever did a tarot card reading for anybody other than myself. And so
Okay.
I did her cards, and I remember telling her something like, "Oh, you have a problem with somebody at work," and I went on, and she stopped me, and she goes, "How do you know this?" And then she accused me of stalking her, and she got paranoid, and she thought that I was. Anyways, that's how I knew. Wow, these
You
have
freaked
real.
her out.
Hey,
Yeah,
my
you freaked
my
her out.
camera went wonky here. Let me see if I can
Yeah, I
do.
seen that your camera and mine's still wonky over here. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody else can see it, but everything behind me is green and
yeah.
my
Now
wall
now I see the
is
green that you're talking about, and your colors are all
orange.
off.
And my shirt is orange too. And it's
All
supposed to be
right.
red.
Well, you guys send Alisa a donation so she can buy a new camera. But anyways,
Yeah,
let me
because I
let me
only paid like 35, 40 bucks for this sucker.
yeah, let me finish how I
Yeah.
knew. Okay.
Okay.
So here I am, like 33 years old, which is a big number numerologically, and I hated my job, and I knew I wanted to be a professional tarot card reader. But I had no stepping stones to guide me in that direction at that time. So it's something I just filed it away in the back of my head for future date. And then about 10 years ago, I found an app online, and I highly recommend this app. It's called Galaxy Tarot.
Okay.
You won't find it in Google Play Store. You have to search for it online. Anyways, I played with that for about 10 years, and I started doing readings for people from the app, and it really worked. And this is how I learned a lot too. Um, then it was 3 years ago, almost we're coming up to the day
Mm.
when I was literally starving because I lost my job because I wouldn't get the jab. COVID was going on, lockdowns were going on, and I was living off handouts. I was literally begging people for enough money to pay my bills and eat every day. And then suddenly it hit me like, as Cherie Sanders says, like a brick from heaven. Scott, you know how to read tarot cards. And I always saying when I watched Janine for 2.5 years, I said, you know what? I can do what she's doing. I know I can. I believed in myself. But it all came back from that one day when I was in my early 30s and I had this connection with them. So they say the cards find you, and that's kind of what happened to me.
Okay.
And then it was really weird. I got my very first deck on the full moon of October 20th, which is on my birthday,
Nice.
and everything changed after that. So but I mean, you don't have to have this calling. If you just feel like you need to be a tarot card reader, like she obviously does, okay. Um, find somebody who you resonate that you can learn from. Like for me, I
Well,
had,
that's what you have inspired her also because her name is Pam. So, but
and
you have
I
inspired her.
am working on creating lessons for teaching my method of reading tarot cards.
Nice.
But that's been kind of put on the back burner now because I'm focusing on this trip to America. So that's taking
Mhm.
all my time right now. So yeah, I will. Oh, and let me suggest Ben Lucas. That's the name of a YouTube channel. He
Okay.
hasn't posted in 10 years, but Ben Lucas has some very good tutorials for learning the tarot cards.
Uh-huh.
And okay, I always have a hard time saying her name. Ashala Yardley. She is now with Beyond Mystic, but I believe she's the best tarot card reader out there on YouTube right now. So Janine's not on YouTube anymore, but and
Okay.
Ashala and Janine are friends. I believe Ashala learned tarot from Janine over the past 30 years. So
Okay.
that's my advice on learning tarot.
And her a little piece to her question was, how many decks of cards do you have? Do you have a
Oh,
variety of decks? Is that what you have?
I've got a bunch. One,
You
two,
do?
three,
I thought maybe you had like two or something like
four.
that there.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I gave one away. So I had six, and that's because like the first one I bought, they were really well, not printed well, and they were really stiff, hard to shuffle. They were too big, and then another one, they just didn't feel right in my hands. And then finally, after I went through all these iterations of cards, I found one that just it feels right in my hands. So this is the one that I stick with now.
Okay.
Um,
That
and
one's
some
built
people,
energy in it.
huh?
I said, so that particular deck has more energy built up in it.
I don't, it's hard to explain. People say that each deck of cards has its own personality. So just like so let's say each deck of cards I have six friends, but this is my best friend. you know. Um, and they say that you're not supposed to buy your own deck, but like technically the I didn't have money to buy a deck, my first deck. My mom sent me $10 for my birthday. So for the past 40 years, my mom's given me $10 for my birthday, right?
No.
So so technically, since it wasn't my money, then it was a gift from my mother. So you could look at it that way.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it is. I think it is better um, if like somebody like me who's got extra decks that they're not using, and then they want to pass those on to other people, like I did. I had a friend of mine. He's an astrologer, and he wanted to dabble in tarot, and so I said, "Hey, I got this deck. I'll give it to you."
Okay. All right. And the next one is from Scott G.
Okay.
Okay. He wants to know, Do you have an animal guide? He says, like the Indians have one, because he has discovered his animal, spiritual animal, and he was curious if you have one. And
Mhm.
I think it's, the one behind you there.
Yeah, it's right there behind me. And
Okay.
so people ask me this a lot of times, what's my animal guide? I think you have to discover what your animal guide is for you. And when Janine inspired me because hers is a raven, all right? And at that time I'm thinking, oh, what is mine? And so I thought back to my childhood. And this is for everybody who wants to know what's your animal spirit guide. Think back
Mhm.
to your earliest memories as a child when you were 3 years old and somebody asked you, what's your favorite animal? You said what? For me, it was tiger and cats. Even though dogs, I love my dogs, but I'm not a dog. People say I'm a dog person or I'm a cat person. I don't know how they can do that. I love them all. But it was tigers for some reason. And then when you couple that with, I had two Siamese cats in my life. The first one got when I was 3 years old. My family got it lived 19 years. Then as soon as that one passed away, we got another Siamese cat that lived 20 years. Now, for those who don't know, Siam is the old name of Thailand. So think about this. I loved tigers. I had Siamese cats, and tigers are indigenous to Thailand. And then I ended up living in Thailand for 20 years. That's how I came. And I used to have a picture just like this one that my grandmother gave me when I was a little kid on my wall all my whole life growing up, which I lost. So I searched online. I found this. It looked just like the one I had as a kid. That's why I always have this tiger behind me. So that's why I know that I have this connection with tigers. Who knows? Maybe one of my incarnations was friends with the tiger or eaten by a tiger in another life. I don't know.
Well, I think it's a good choice because the albino one that you have behind you, that is really beautiful,
Hmm.
and it blends so nicely with you.
You know, tigers also suit my personality. I'm a loner. And tigers, they only meet up with other tigers to make baby tigers, and they spend most of their time alone, and
Okay.
that's been me, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm quite happy with it. But
Mm.
and thank you for asking that. That was really really
I thought
cool.
that was a very interesting question. It's like, there's the people they do send me emails and stuff, and then they'll make comments about you. And I thought that was really cool. And Scott G, I don't mean to do this to you, my friend, but he's please forgive me. His spirit animal is an armadillo. So. And I don't mean I just think that's adorable. Like Janeway on Voyager, she had a gecko, and I think that's so cool, my brother. I really do. I think that's really cool. So
Armadillos are really cool.
yeah, they are. Um, Vivian H, she says, Alisa, do you have any messages from my star friends? Actually, I do, because you remember whenever I took a break and I said I wanted to go on vacation for a little while, I thought for sure, I'd be going on, but apparently God just needed me to take a break, and I find out some very interesting things, and that goes along with what they're telling us to prepare us for what we're going to be start seeing, the things anomalies. Okay. And they had let me know that this energy is changing, but it's the energy being pulled up out of Gaia. Can you think of I really don't want to use this, but I'm going to use it just to give you an idea. Like in a graveyard, you can see spirits come up out of the graves. Well, all these different things that's going to be happening and stuff, they're going to be coming up from out of the ground. When you're talking about spirits, apparitions, these anomalies. Oh, I seen Bigfoot, stuff like this here, is coming up from the ground. But then there's also going to be stuff coming from above. And they have to let me know to let all of you know. That's the reason why next year is going to be pretty intense, because all of these sightings and all of these anomalies are going to start happening a lot faster. And just like Scott was saying, if you are in a negative mindset or whatever, then it's going to be negative. Okay, if you're in a positive state of mind and heart, then it will be a good thing. And some of these, the reason why it's special is because I have spoken to quite a few people and told them that I know that they have partners, husband, wives, families that are ships on these ships. Okay, well, this here will also be able to give you a chance to see them because they are out of phase from us. It's like they're 5 hertz and we're 4. Okay. But as these things come and bouncing off of each other, you can actually have that time where you can actually see the shape of your family. Okay. And it would look pretty much like if you are a different species, it will look like that. So I'm trying to prepare you, my brothers and sisters. The ones who have spoken to me and I've told you about what they look like and stuff like this here, it won't be that big of a shock because they already have some descriptions to it. But this here will allow these two things to fade in and out. Okay, and that is because the energy is changing, and the more it changes, the more love, because it's getting higher, they'll fade in. It's like they'll come right in and then they'll be where you can touch them. That's what's happening. We're going to that, and we're going to be able to phase them into us because our frequency and vibration will match that. Okay.
I'm really looking forward to that. Real quick, Alisa, Debbie L has a question. She says, how do we schedule a reading with you, Alisa? She says, I sent a message to your email 6 or 7 days ago, but haven't heard back.
Well,
Would you
you
like
know
to tell
what,
people?
Debbie? I'm gonna go over here and look for you. I'm gonna go see. I honestly I get so many, okay? And that's being true. And a
Right.
lot of, I mean, tons and tons of questions, but let me see.
And while you're looking up that, I want to answer, do you
Okay.
follow Cliff High? And listen, I love Cliff High. I think he's incredibly intelligent. He's probably got an IQ up around 140 or so. However, he has made predictions, wild predictions, and I've been listening to him for, well, since before I came to Thailand. He used to be on Coast to Coast Live with Art Bell. That was 25 years ago. And he made tons of predictions that none of which have come true. Many of which have not come true. Um, so take people like that with a grain of salt. When you have these people who've made these wild predictions, like he said, there was going to be a tsunami that comes within 6 miles of the east coast of the United States from La Palma, but it's going to magically disappear somehow. I mean, he said that as if there was no doubt. And remember what I always say, certainty is the enemy of truth. Okay? So you can't say these things like they're 100% certain, and he does that. So, I love Cliff, and I think he has a lot to offer, but take what he says with a grain of salt. That's all. Unlike Phil G, who he's been right about just about everything he said that was going to happen, because he gets his intel from insiders. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in about Cliff. Love Cliff though. Don't get me wrong. I love him.
Debbie, I did find your email. It's about under, I don't know, maybe 100. But I did find it. So I did find it. So, but now that you know I am aware of you, I try to do them in order, okay, and that way I'm being fair to everybody. And that's whenever I first came back from my vacation, and Scott was asking me if I was doing reads again, and I said yes, but be understanding that I have all those I got to get caught up on.
Right.
Okay, not just readings, but questions as well.
Yeah.
And so you won't be forgotten about, Debbie. Okay, so
Yeah. Maybe Elisa, if somebody that's connects with us like through the chat, they can be moved up on your list. I don't know if that's fair or if you could do that, but
well, that's going to say I tried to be fair, you know,
right.
and I
Yeah.
had one lady that got lost in my spam from back in May. I felt like dirt, my brothers and sisters. I really felt bad because she had gotten lost in the sauce kind of ordeal. So yes, I did put her up in the thing because she had gotten lost. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Real
But
quick, Serena Magic asked me if I've done a reading on P. Diddy. And no, I haven't, and I won't. And let me tell you why I won't do readings on people like this. Um, Do you remember the guy from, I think it was Full House? And then he was on America's Funniest Videos. I can't remember his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He had a mysterious death a couple of years back where he fell and hit his head, and I did a video. It wasn't live. I made a video for him, but everybody's talked about how horrible this guy was, right? But what I got was that his soul wasn't born that way. He was actually born a loving, sweet person, but because he was born into the cabal, they forced him to be this way. So what I was getting was that we shouldn't judge him and that we should love him. And I knew, especially this was 2.5 years ago when I was new on the scene, I knew if I put this out there, people would turn against me.
Mm.
And this is something that I've learned since then is that not all of the not all the people who we think are good guys, and not all the people who we think are bad guys. They're infiltrated.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm afraid that if I did a reading on P. Diddy, what if he was actually a good guy who had infiltrated and now he's, he was playing some part of a plan, and then everybody would get mad and go, "How can you say P. Diddy is a good guy? He did this and he did that." I don't know. I don't know how it works. Maybe these souls they incarnate for a particular reason to play a role that that moves all of humanity forward in some way. I don't know. But no, I'm not going to point my fingers at people and say, "Oh, that person's good and that person's bad." Let's
Right.
wait till all this is done and the smoke clears, and then we start finding out the truth. Bob Saget, yeah, thank you,
There you
Bahadur.
go, Bob Saget. Yeah. Okay. Um, I have to ask a question now. I know that Lacy Blue one, you've been trying so hard to get yourself into membership thing. I thought that whenever I came on here, I was going to be surprised and see that you have the little red dot next to you. You do not. I'm still
Oh,
rooting for you, sister. I'm still
oh,
rooting for you.
yeah.
I mean,
You,
it was
you-
like a bingo thing, and she was like, come on, give me one. Come on, give me one." I was definitely rooting for her.
yeah.
But you said it was random. You can't particularly just give it straight to that that
I wish that I could. And I thought that I was including everybody. I thought I was making it able for everybody to join by making it just $1.99. But
right.
some people don't have $1.99 extra a month. And believe me, I understand. I've been there. So sorry about that. Yeah,
Mm.
Lacey Blue is the one who last week when I had Honey on, and I did the
Mhm.
whole show, almost the entire show, in members only chat, and then I figured it out and I opened it. Lacey says, "Oh, I can breathe again," and it just made me feel so bad because I know how frustrating it must be to be trying to type on the computer, type your chat in, but you're being blocked, and I felt horrible about that. All day I felt bad about that. So I'll make sure. I'm still learning this system, guys, so that will never happen again, I assure you.
Well, whenever you were talking to Honey and she was trying to give you a question about you because you don't like to do the cards on yourself, right?
Hmm,
So
Rarely,
so
I rarely do, yeah.
I came up with one too. So I did. All right. Um, Will Will Scott see?
Oh,
Yeah, this is yeah. I'm trying to
yeah.
get it to where Honey was trying to
I
do
have to
it.
pull out it. I have to pull out a
Okay.
different deck. Okay. This is really interesting. When she did that, that was a great end around for me not reading on myself. By me reading on a question that you have about me, I can do it more objectively. So yeah, let's give this a try.
Okay. 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 All right. Um, Will Scott at any given time in the future, Will Scott see Alisa in a dress?
In a dress. Right? Let's take a look and see. Because I'm going to be in Atlanta. I think Stacy and I are going to be traveling from Bowling Green, Kentucky to Atlanta together.
Oh
And
wow.
and then I'll stay probably a night or two in Atlanta. So you've got
Okay.
to come visit me while I'm there.
Well, I don't have a dress. So
Well, let's see what the cards say. And we're not talking about 10 years from now. We're talking about in the near
yeah,
foreseeable
the near
future.
future,
That's
yes.
unless you're planning on coming to Thailand anytime soon, then oh, look at that, lovers. Don't
And
you and I share the same birthday?
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's why I'm getting the lovers here.
Well, my son told me that he would agree and stand up and say the world is changing if I wore a dress. So that would
Uh,
show him the world's changing. So uh,
I'm getting from the cards that you usually wear like work clothes, like overalls or coveralls or something like that, or something that somebody would wear when working in the garden. Is that right?
yeah, or outside. Yes,
Yeah.
I'd be
So
comfortable.
that's when I do see you, that's how you're going to be dressed. And you know, because I live
I'm gonna be
so
dressed like a farmer. Is that what you're saying?
well, kind of like, well, the look what you're wearing right now, the flannel shirt. I mean,
Oh no, I get out of that med bed. This shit's gone.
okay, so no, but I may be seeing you on a ship, and then you're not going to be dressed like that. You're going to be dressed in your you know, whatever you're supposed to wear when you're
Bodysuit.
yeah,
And
like
Tracy Gardner,
like
no, 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 I am not getting married. No, no, no,
yeah,
I
me
ain't getting
neither.
married. I served my time.
Well, I've never been married, and I know this is confusing because I say I have a wife. I call Nina my wife because we're she's more than a girlfriend, okay? And we're not technically married, but we're living together now for 5 years. So what else are you going to call somebody like that?
Common
But
law.
but the idea of going to a state and having the state say, okay, you two are now joined under this legal matrimony, I don't agree with that. And yeah, so and think about this. We're going to be living for hundreds of years after the med beds come out. Do you want to be married to the same person for 200 years?
Hell yeah, if he was worth it.
Hmm, I don't know.
But I do
Maybe
know that God has something for me in the future, ladies. Okay. I
or
do
yeah,
know God's got somebody for me in the future. So I'm
good,
just going to stay confident about that.
good.
But I did, and I'm going to do this, and I don't have to do this, but I'm going to do this because this is going to shock y'all. I actually seen a gentleman that raised my eyebrow. Okay.
Oh,
This is recent. Okay. But
nice.
and then as soon as that eyebrow raised, I said, "Get your ass back down because if that's going to keep you from getting there, that's not going to happen." So,
Yeah,
but anyway, I thought he was cute, right? And he's
right.
65 year old, okay, and he's bald, okay. And my brother comes over to see me, and he's ragging on me again. You need a husband. You know, he's been doing that to me for 9.5 years. But anyway, I said, "Well, actually, I actually seen somebody I thought it was cute." And he says, "Really?" He said, "Who is it?" And I actually had a picture of him, and I showed him to my brother. And my brother goes, "Please, woman." And I said, "What?" He says, "He looks like a Q-tip." And I'm just like, "What?" Now he's done destroyed my whole thing. And I was like, "Now, the heck with it. Now I ain't even going to bother." So, because my so just because he's bald doesn't make him look like a Q-tip. I can
Hey,
understand it if he had gray,
remember,
but
grass doesn't grow on a busy street. That's what we
that's a
always used
fact.
to say.
But it was a little moment. It's gone now, okay? But I mean, still, I just couldn't believe my brother. I'm like a Q-tip, whatever. I'll be a diamond. So
Oh, this is interesting. This is Stacy. She says she has a friend who's teleported 3 times while he was on the phone, while she was on the phone with him. Scott, what is that about? Well, that's you're the one who
or at least
Alisa, you're the one who has the story about the train, right? You went through the train and teleported, or
no, that wasn't
oh,
me.
that's Cherie.
Remember that?
That's Cherie's story.
Oh, that's
Cherie's
Cherie's story.
Cherie's teleported a few times.
Yeah. JD, no.
And Rob, bless you that you have a partner that you would stay with for eternity with, because that's very special.
Yeah.
And that's something I was born
Oh my goodness.
romantic.
Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I just noticed somebody in the room that I was actually going to give a shout out to, and that's Molly C.
Oh,
My
okay.
sister made my day whenever you left that comment under my song for Bang Bang Boogie Boogie. I was exactly thinking about the Star Wars canteen whenever I was coming up with that. So I definitely want to give you a kudos for that because she was the only one that pointed that out in there. And I just thought that that girl, she read me, she understood. So, so thank you, Molly. See, I appreciate that, my sister. Let me see.
I'm going to do
Uh,
this one for Lacey Blue. She says, "Did I
yeah.
read tarot cards in a past life? Why do they intimidate me now?" So that's interesting. Um, that you feel intimidated by them. Well, let's see what the cards have to say for Lacey Blue. It's her connection with the cards, or why does she feel intimidated by them? So definitely you did read them in a past life, I would say. That's a yes to that. And for some people, it's better to not get outside information like that, because then you change choices that you could make, and that would change something that you're meant to be doing. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But there is a reason. It is, you did read cards in a past life. Um, maybe maybe you did a reading for somebody and in a past life, and it just, I don't I'm not sure, but I would say yes, that you did have an experience in a past life, and for whatever reason you're not meant to be doing it now. That's why you feel intimidated by it.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Well,
this one, real quick, Stacy, about your friend who keeps teleporting. Does he
all
live
right.
near a portal? Let me look at that part of the question. Does he live near a portal, or why does he keep teleporting like that? Is it internal or external? That's the way I'm going to ask him.
Okay. Da,
So it is not because there's a portal nearby. He's doing it himself. Okay. Um, but he's doing it on a unconscious level. So if he could master this, then he could actually. And this is what Honey says, and Phil G says we're going to be doing this. He could actually start doing it on command at some point, and maybe also operating the teleporters that we're going to be using in the future, since he has this innate connection with teleportation. Then at some point he may be enlisted to, like in Star Trek, the guys who stand behind the console going. So he might have something to do with the teleportation machines when they come out, which I can't even believe I'm saying that now, because it seems so far-fetched, you know.
right.
But I said it a long time ago. Anything you saw on Star Trek could happen in our lifetime. That's
Right.
replicators, teleportation, contact with our
Hmm.
galactic brothers and sisters.
Yeah, there was a there we were supposed to already be in 4D. A lot of
Right.
people doesn't understand why we're going to 3D straight to 5D because we didn't get the chance to go to the typical 4D. And therefore, by this time, we should have already had the Jetson scene.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And because we don't, we're going to bypass that. But like I said, a lot of us came in here to help assist to make sure that we get over that bridge. And but there will be those that will experience a 4D world. But for the most part, we didn't get to have that, or I should have said this run. So that's one of the reasons why we're going from 3 to 5. And to go flight, she says, I'm living into my 300, so I'll probably have two hubbies after my current one of 21 years. I hear you, my sister. You go for it. Just like
Hey,
JD told me, go for it.
hey, Alisa,
Uh,
I wanted to show this. This note that I showed you before we started.
uh-huh.
Would it be appropriate? Would it be okay if I cover the numbers, the 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 serial code? Could I
Uh-huh.
show people what it looks like?
Sure. I would definitely cover the numbers though.
Yep, I'm going to cover my numbers. But this is a Zimbon, and check out that number. That's a 50 trillion. That's
Yes, that's 50
three
trillion.
six nine 36912 zeros. And you told me to look out for the date and to
Yeah,
check if it was counterfeit. And you said
right.
after 2008 it could be counterfeit. This one is
Yeah.
2008, and it's got the double A in front of it
That's
that
the
you
ones
told me to look
that was the last of the real ones that were made. That's why they're very valuable. And then after that, they got overwhelmed and bombarded because this is what they wanted to do. And they threw counterfeit in it so badly after that. But if you do have something that is after 2008, don't worry. If it is a counterfeit, they will still give you something for it. It might
That's
not be as much as the original one, but they understand that we got lied to, ripped off, so they will, give you something out of it. Just like the one that Scott has there, it being a 50 trillion. If they give him $10 million for it, okay, then yours would be half that, even though it's a counterfeit, but you won't get that full extent. You'll get half or less than half.
10
And
million, or I've heard 10 or 20 million from
no,
this.
I was just giving it for instance. I'm just
Okay,
giving
all
it
right.
for
But even that,
right.
I've heard 20 million, right? Which
Mhm.
is an unimaginable number. And I would
Right.
be, what would I do with 20 million? But you know what? For what I want to do, and this is what I want to do with them ever since I came to Thailand, seeing the dogs and cats on the streets, and I've been in Laos. I've seen a dog on a barbecue in Laos. I want to cure this problem
Wow.
of cats and dogs suffering in my adopted home of all of Southeast Asia, not just Thailand. And
Right.
$20 million. And what I have imagined, what I see in my mind are these
Uh-huh.
pastoral lands of where there's like a lake and like little condominiums set up just for the cats and dogs to go and live in that have air conditioning, and there's an on premises veterinarian and a staff to feed them and all this. Yeah, 20 million should cover it.
Yeah, I would think so. But I mean, there is different rumors out there, what it will go for. But it seems like the starting point is somewhere around 30 to 40 million per 100 trillion.
Wow,
Okay.
Tug of Light has 100 trillion. Just
Yeah.
had to show me up, didn't you? I thought I was being cool showing my 50 trillion. You just had to show your 100 trillion, didn't you?
Um, Michael, you want to know if you will be buying your son's a frame cabin this year. I'm hoping that's an investment, to get him out of your house, but I can see you doing that. I would definitely look at two smaller ones, kind of like get the two for the price of one. Okay, because I have dealt with those frame cabins before. You can buy the smaller ones and you can put it together and make a larger one. But if you buy two smaller ones, it's just going to come out cheaper. Okay, and all you have to do is lock them together. No biggie. And Rob, I'm impressed, my brother. Says my wife and I were told that we owe $37,000 for our taxes for our business, but my wife looked online yesterday and it got zeroed out. Nasara, congratulations, Rob. Congratulations. I have
Great.
heard this before. Now you're just one of those that's actually had that happen to you as well. So woohoo, I'm gonna go with that too. I'll be a diamond.
That's Rob Armstrong, right? Yeah, okay, I see
Yeah,
it now.
Rob Armstrong, yes.
Question my but my wife. Okay, he's asking. Okay, he's asking if that's Nassar or Desar. Wow,
Right.
that's great. And you know, Rob, I've been hearing these same anecdotal stories, like tons of them. Let me check my email. I think maybe somebody sent me a question there.
Okay.
We are gonna wrap this up in 15 minutes,
There
everybody,
we go.
just so you know.
Um,
I have a private session
okay.
after this.
Tracy, if you're feeling pulled to move, my friend, then that is the correct feeling that you're supposed to be having.
Mhm.
Because your question says, Elisa, do you see me moving house anytime soon? Is that out of a house or into a house? So whatever you are being pulled to do, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay. Yeah, good advice there.
Am I destined to people into the lands beyond to go flight? Um, Yes, you can actually be a tour guide. There's going to be people who are going to get tours because they can't go to Tartaria, but they will definitely have tours and stuff like this here, especially for the new ones that are going over there that's supposed to be there. It's going to be very helpful to those groups. Okay. So yes, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Can I take a moment to encourage people? Actually, Stacy, if you're in the chat, could you do me a favor, Stacy?
Oh, okay. I
Stacy,
misunderstood the question.
pop over to my Telegram, the Journey Home support group, Stacy, if you're listening. If you could share the Telegram um, Scott's Journey Home support group in the chat, and I'm still looking for people who can maybe give me a couch to sleep on or someplace near LA, near Los Angeles, say an hour drive from the airport, um, and a ride from Los Angeles to Sedona, Flagstaff area, and maybe a place to stay in that area. If not, then I'll book up. Somebody mentioned hostels, which of course in Southeast Asia with backpackers, that's where you stay. Hostels, bunk rooms. I've stayed in bunk rooms with 10 other people, and I didn't know they have that in America. Didn't occur to me that they have that in America. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that. But I'd much rather stay with people in their
Okay.
home if they would have me.
All right.
So actually, I don't. You know what? I can do it myself. All right. So did you have something to say there?
I guess I misunderstood Michael's question.
Okay. Why don't you
I'm
redo?
yeah. Well, Sandy said, that Michael wants to know if he will be buying his sons an A-frame. And I take it as in he's going to go buy his sons an A-frame, or is he referring to buying a A-frame from his son? So,
Okay.
um, so I'm assuming he's wanting to buy it from him. So if that's what you feel to do, then by all means, if it's going to break your pocket, don't do it. Celebrating.
Kimberly, thank you so much for that wonderful donation. By the way, I'm gonna be buying my ticket probably around the end of October. It's gonna come from my YouTube money. Um, So
Okay.
here, let me post. I'm posting this in the chat right now. Now, let me say again, this group is only for people who can help me either find a place to stay on my trip or
Mhm.
help me with transportation. So it's not just a hangout type of group. Um, okay, so this is my support team for getting across America.
Right.
That's what that is. Uh, and let's see, Kimberly. You don't
Yeah.
have a question, you just say thank you. So,
Yeah.
wow, that is
Thank
so
you, Kimberly,
nice.
for sending that to Scott, my friend. That was sweet.
Did you do two of those? She did.
What?
Am I seeing double? I'm seeing
Yeah.
double. All right. Well, I'm I got to talk about my trip a little bit
Yes.
before
Right.
it's becoming real now, which you guys don't you can't understand how I feel about this. Do you realize, Alisa, I've been in Southeast Asia for 1/3 of my lifetime.
Wow.
Think about it that way. I'm
Yeah.
60, 20 years, 1/3 of my lifetime. And to be honest with you, when my father passed away, I wanted nothing more than to go home to be there for his memorial, but I couldn't because I just couldn't afford it. I was basically stuck here, marooned. I've been marooned in Thailand for 20 years.
Mhm.
Luckily, I'm marooned in paradise, and I've always been very happy here. But all of a sudden, I feel this, now's the time. I feel this like calling, like you're saying, like people say, I feel called to do this. I feel this calling. Now's the time. I feel my home calling me back home,
Yeah. So when are you
reuniting with
supposed to be
friends and
leaving?
family. I I I I want to buy my ticket to leave here on the 19th of March, 2025, which
Mm.
puts me arriving in America right around the spring solstice, which is a very important date for me. When I left the first time to hike the Appalachian Trail, I left on the 21st of March, the first day of spring. Um,
Okay.
so it's kind of like this. Anyway, so that's the date I'm looking at.
Okay.
So
Well,
just
I
it's
thought I honestly thought she was going to be this way, by the end of October or in November or so. But
oh,
now I
this
see
year no.
you got a better plan, so you have time to plan and more
Oh
things
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
experience.
I want to. I'm a big planner. Whenever before I do an expedition, and even though I'm going to America this is an expedition for me. I need to have it well planned out, and I'm
No, I don't
I
think he's going through North Carolina, Vivian. I think he's going to go straight down like towards Atlanta.
yeah. So Atlanta is the even though that's funny that you mentioned North Carolina because I just saw this thing about rafting, whitewater rafting on the Nantahala. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be a great trip to get a bunch of our friends that are watching here to do like a picnic and in a rafting trip down the Nantahala. So
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe that's something that I can work into this trip.
There you go. There you go. Well, but Virginia wants to know. Well, I got to find her again. She wants to know if her and her son are going. If I can find you again. I done moved the thingy, so now I done lost you. Okay, it's down here. I'll let you know when I find it.
Is Vivian the one who said she's in North Carolina? She says she's on the
Yeah, she
coast.
wants you to pull a
Okay,
card
well
for her.
she's on the coast, so that's far from Nantahala. But Vivian, you're not far from Atlanta, if you can come meet me there, that would be awesome.
Here it is. She said, Scott, what do you see for me with my son? Thank you very much.
Okay, let me pull cards on that. And who is
Okay.
this?
Vivian, Virginia, she's in North Carolina.
Virginia and North Carolina. And what do you
Mhm.
see with me and her
Okay.
son, right? That's what she said?
No, she's not in North Carolina. Vivian's in North Carolina.
Right. No.
I apologize, Virginia. I done moved you, my sister.
Virginia, I'm gonna do a full 7 card spread on this. Okay. So the first card
Okay.
represents you, the hermit, a guide, a wise guide. And wow, your son's coming up as the emperor. Judgment in the past. Ace of Cups, that's the love of a mother for her son. Unconditional love that mothers have for their sons. And Five of Swords. So he's having a hard time with the awakening. Okay. He, if I can read this correctly, he feels like he knows everything, and there's nothing he can learn from you. Okay. And when you have somebody like this, then it's going to take some rock solid evidence for him to be able to understand the ascension process. So he needs to see like UFOs, or he has to have what's called an a priori experience. He in other words, there's nothing you can do to wake him up. He's got to have his own experience. So I think the best thing for you to do is love him unconditionally, as only a mother can, and let him have his own journey. I wish I had something more positive, but when you get the Five of Swords as an outcome here, it's hard to make that into something
Right,
more positive. But it's we just have to let people go and let them have their own awakening in their own way, and he will.
right. Well, Sherry Knoll, she says, Alisa, do the Palladians have anything to say? I was letting y'all know earlier that they were letting me know that things are going to start to change a little bit better, and they are going to use it to their advantage so that they can, allow their boots on the ground family and so forth could possibly see them. Now, this isn't a guarantee, but if you stay focused and don't freak out during the stuff, you might be able to see some pretty amazing things. And yes, my two Palladian friends, Onar and Corian, were there explaining this here to me, and also letting me know that they have picked up the pace on. There are certain individuals that are done with their mission, and they get to go into a med bed, but they're doing it on these ships because they're not human and they're going to go home. But they also are picking up some more. I don't want to call them important, but the higher frequency ones, and getting those set up like chess players. But yeah, that's what my Palladian friends have said. And their name is Onar and Corian. So if you feel a tie to them, feel free to talk out to them, okay? So not just specifically for me, okay?
Okay,
And
let me.
Carolyn is another one. He's half Palladian and half Andromedan. So so he is. I don't know if he will, but he's another one. So
Okay, let me go ahead and do this question that Sandy highlighted once again for me from Michael.
okay.
Oh, and I know who this is too. This is Michael, I believe, in Wisconsin, if I'm guessing
We still
correctly.
didn't get that question answered, Sandy. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sorry.
So look, this
Oh yeah, yeah.
and so Sandy helped out. She says, should Michael buy his son's A-frame cabin this year? The son's cabin is next to his things. Okay, so this is what I got. Let me point my camera down. And I got this I'm sorry, Page of Pentacles at the top, which is a yes with a caveat. So it's a yes, but not right now. Um, you're going to intuitively know,
Oh,
because
okay.
the high priestess has the outcome. You will intuitively know when it's a good idea, but you notice there's a three here, and it's an A frame. You even got like an A frame here that's telling me that, and justice across from that. This is something that is destined to happen, but the timing is important. Okay, Mike? So probably not this year, after maybe after like the this great financial change happens, and then you have to follow your intuition about the timing of it. Okay, but yes, you will be buying that house at some point in the future. It's literally in the cards.
Yeah, literally in the card. There you go. I'm glad you did that for him. So
Hmm.
now we got him answered, and that makes me feel good as well. Um, and I did want to let everybody know that I appreciate all your wonderful comments for the music over there on my channel. I am really, 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 really grateful for that, my brothers and sisters. And the new one that's coming out tomorrow at 7 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. It's God Undercover, and it's really good. So
Okay. And we're gonna wrap it up. And on that note, Alisa, how about
mhm.
if you play us out with this song that you sent me recently? Is this okay with you? I'll play if it's okay with you, I'll play this song.
What's it
And then
called? Which one is it?
yeah, let me pull it up real quick. I got it on my channel. It's Army of
Oh,
God.
Army of God. Yeah, absolutely. Y'all need to go check out that one too, because that was my very first
Well,
rock
we're
song that
we're
God
gonna
gave me.
we're gonna we're
So,
gonna listen to it right now, and
yeah.
uh and then I'm gonna say good night because I have, like I said, I have a meeting soon.
Okay.
So thank you, Elisa, for
You, Scott.
joining us, and thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you
That's
for your
right.
support, your financial support, your spiritual support, your emotional support. You guys make it possible
That's right.
for
I love you,
everything.
my brothers and sisters.
Monster darkness with hearts of gold.